What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am back again with another video, and as y'all can tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to be recapping the last couple years of LDOE. Oftentimes when I see people asking questions after returning to the game, it was what's been added, what did I miss, what's going on. So basically, if that's you, then this video is going to be perfect for you, or if you just want to see what kefir's done in the last 4 or 5 years, then you can stick around and hopefully you'll enjoy. Anyway, with all of that said, let's get into the video. So, let's go back a couple years to November 7th, 2019, where kefir added possibly the biggest update they've ever done, with that being the Season 3 ATV update. This has probably been the most loaded update that they've added, with it having not only the ATV, but they introduced the swamp, Bunker Bravo, caps, the junkyard, fishing, a lot of things that are in the game that you'll see to this day, some of which being permanent locations, others being events, others being mechanics, and ores, and new stuff to grind for. This is where a lot of people kind of stopped playing after this update. Anyway, after this update and the seasons, there is a lot of time in between with the next big update, which was April 22nd, 2020, where they did their big multiplayer revamp, where they added stuff like shops into the crater, and the new leveling system in the crater as we know it today, to where it's actually a viable, enjoyable multiplayer experience. They did this throughout Seasons 7, 9, and 11, so it was spread out a little bit, but it's actually a really good system. But the thing is, this is what it is to this day. There's been nothing updated. And then December of the same year, 2020, they added the new location, the port sewers, which has the system of deliveries, as well as including the new boat and the new location with titanium. And then this was another really big update, not as big as the ATV update, but this still added 2 new locations, a new vehicle, as well as new ores. So there's really not much more you can ask than that. And then February 25th, 2021, they added the crater apartments as well as PvP, which was, I think, the last update they've done to the crater to this day, which is kind of sad because it was almost over 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago that they did this. But basically this added PvP, which is, if you ask me, an enjoyable part of the game, but could be better with more maps. And then wasting no time after, on March 31st, just a couple days later, they added the Port Laboratory, which to this day is one of the hardest locations you can do in LDOE. I definitely don't recommend this for beginners, but this was a really big update. Not only was the laboratory added, but they also added the armor-piercing weapons, and a couple months later they all added hard mode, as well as the other floors. They also added some player skins, which I'll get into later. This is a very end-game location that they've added. Now, on the opposite of that, though, on July 16th, they added stories, which is a very beginner-type thing, where you basically have some tasks, you gotta follow a storyline, and you get some pretty unique rewards. Pretty sure this is the update that introduced the vinyls, as well as some special types of storage, and then a couple other unique rewards. This is still in there to this day, so if you haven't played in a while, this is one of those things that you can do that's not crazy hard, but you can still get some nice rewards out of. But it's not one of those things that you have to rush into to try and do before you do anything else. It's whenever you're ready to do it, or you're bored and don't have anything to do. This is a fun thing for you to do. Then on August 10th of 2022, they added the settlement. At the time, it was pretty much just a blueprint for what the settlement was going to be. It wasn't until December 8th that they added the stuff like mercenaries and the buildings and the base building that you see to this day. The way the settlement works now is there's a couple buildings there that have different things that you can do for expeditions, as well as a whole other base you can build using the stuff from expeditions. My opinions on this have varied a lot since it's come out, but I definitely recommend giving it a check out. I don't necessarily recommend doing this if you're really, really new to the game, or if you're coming back after a long time, because this isn't essential until later, and you're not going to get a really big advantage by doing this, but still a fun thing to have in your back pocket. And then the most recent big thing they've added was the drone and transport hub. This is something that's still kind of new, so there's still a lot of people doing it. I'm sure you've seen people doing it before if you stay up to date with what's happening on Twitch and YouTube for LDOE. They also tease the suburbs. Once you finish the stuff you can do at the transport hub, you can unlock the location, the suburbs, which is going to be introduced sometime in the future. Don't know when. But this update's cool because it also added some new rewards, like more vinyls, more armor skins, as well as they brought the miner and butcher to be a single-player boss. So the transport hub is a very interesting location. You can't get there if you're low level. You have to unlock the drone, which is actually quite hard to get if you ask me, because you have to clear the laboratory quite a few times to be able to get the flight controllers. But it's still a nice thing to be added into the game when you're ready to do it. And then other than that, a few miscellaneous things that have been added. The Rottweiler puppy was added with its own special unique skill, as well as it being the fourth dog variety. Also the Dragonov, which as of now is only obtainable throughout level 60 of the premium pass and 80 for the free pass. Personally, I've never gotten this before, and from what I've seen, it's not terribly anything special. Backpack skins have been in the game for a while, but now you can add armor skins to where you're wearing something. No matter what armor you're wearing, your skin will look like that. So, for example, I have, say, the Handyman skin, and I put on that skin over SWAT armor or military armor. It's still going to look like the Handyman skin. These skins can be obtained throughout a bunch of things that I've said before, like the transport hub or the laboratory. I think stories have some, and it's honestly a really cool feature in the game. Also, a little while back, basements were added into resource zones. I don't know if they're still there because I haven't seen them in a while, because the other thing that's been added is more stuff in the resource zones. Like, there's events there. If you go to the Red Rock Zone, I know there's a chance you can find like a settlement camp from survivors, and you can kill them and you can get some unique rewards. And that honestly was good because it makes these zones have a lot more variety now. It makes them a lot more interesting. So beware of that. That's another big thing that's changed if you're going to zones. And that's the video. That pretty much sums up what's happened the last 4 or 5 years of LDOE, the big things that have been going on. If you have any questions about stuff that's been added, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll respond and see if I can help out. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and like the video as well as subscribe. You can also join the Discord down low, link will be in the description. But anyway, that's going to be all for me. I hope you all have an amazing rest of y'all's day. I'm out. Peace.